that pistol.
I divorced my high school sweetheart after 5 years of marriage and 4 babies.
He hasn't asked or said anything. It's none of his business what I do. None.
No.
I'm not going to tell him. He doesn't need to know.
If you want to destroy a culture, let young women be the influencers to set the culture. And I know you're not supposed to say that, and now I used to be on the internet, but it's true. If you want to have a ruined culture, let the youngest, least mature women have the highest influence. And that's the world that we live in. We live in a day that beats men down, it doesn't build them up, it teaches women to be independent, not in love, live a life separated from God and from their father and from their husband, and the result is misery.
So let me get this straight. So many modern day women think that they're the prize because basically they're a functioning adult and they pay their bills. Like, congratulations for paying your electric bill. I guess that means you deserve princess treatment. Meanwhile, these women are ill-mannered, don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to take constructive criticism, they only know how to focus on negative behaviors instead of positive behaviors, they have unhealed trauma that they constantly project onto other people, they're selfish and entitled and expect everyone to cater to them while they give nothing in return, they have poor time management, they don't have any priorities in place, they don't know how to focus, they don't know what they really want in life, which is why they dabble in everything and sleep around, they prefer negative attention rather than no attention at all. Their idea of positive friendships is how many followers they have, and their reputation online is more important than who they are in real life. Dismissive to anybody's feelings or opinions if it doesn't validate them. They bully people while simultaneously preaching women empowerment, but yet they have so much to bring to the table because they're functioning.
So many women today walk into relationships with a checklist that reads like a luxury car brochure. He needs to be tall, rich, emotionally available, but also rugged, dominant but sensitive, ambitious but always home. Meanwhile, what's on offer in return? A headache and an attitude? Let's not sugarcoat it. There's been a cultural shift where entitlement is dressed up as empowerment. And when men no longer sign up for this one-sided deal, they're suddenly weak, afraid of strong women, or accused of not being able to handle a real one. But here's the truth: men are simply walking away from a rigged game. They're no longer willing to pour into someone who only brings chaos and demands. And that's not bitterness. That's boundaries. It's not that men have stopped loving women. They've just stopped tolerating the delusion.
A couple times that he's been awake out in the backyard, and he's woken up, I've come home and he's awake, and he's in the garage or something like that, so I know he knows I'm still gone when he wakes up. Right. He hasn't asked or said anything. It's none of his business what I do. None.
No.
I'm not going to tell him. He doesn't need to know. And
for any of his business, you're Tracy's.
Right.
And even that's none of his business.
Right. Like, he doesn't need to know where I'm going. None. Like, I leave the house all the time. Like, because I'll go and see Anthony, and, like, during the week, I'll just go over to his house and say hi. I'll only be over there for, like, 40 minutes, and then I'll come home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just leave.
Not only is she cheating, but she's trashing the man behind his back to her friends while still wearing his ring. That's a double betrayal most people won't admit out loud. Because cheating is bad enough, but the casual disrespect? The way she talks about him like he's some clueless fool. That's the part that stings deeper. And let's not ignore her friend in this mess. Of course, she's single. These are the same ride-or-die besties who hype each other up to ruin their own relationships, telling her it's none of his business who she's sleeping with while married to the man. This is how modern sisterhood works now. Encourage betrayal, then play dumb when it all comes crashing down. But here's the twist. She got caught on a dash cam. That's right. She exposed herself because she either forgot about the camera or thought he was too stupid to check. That level of arrogance only comes from someone who never expected to face consequences. Modern delusion isn't just entitlement. It's believing you can disrespect a man, cheat on him, and still be seen as the victim. Thankfully, Karma was recording.
This is something that I honestly been pondering on actually for a few years now. I remember what the Bible said about women and you know, like the evil spirit, what the Bible says about the Jezebel spirit, and you know, things I see that women do, things I know and heard that women do. the paternity issue, how these women lay next to a man for years, looking a kid in the eyes for years, knowing there's no relation, how good men get stomped out, how kids are just used for a check. I've come to the conclusion that I think women are just pure evil. Like, I really think women are just pure evil. Women are naturally evil beings, I believe. And only a woman who's honest about our natural nature of being deceptive can change it. Like, for example, I know that naturally there's a selfish, gimme, 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 I want that type of way about me. So, about people, period, but especially women. So if you can't be honest and say that that's in there, then you can't deal with it and address it. And so I've noticed that the women who say they're the dopest, they're the this, they're the that, are usually the worst, because you have to acknowledge the beast in you in order to tame it. And so I really just think most women are natural evil, period. I just think they're evil. And not even just how they deal with men and kids makes them evil, but how they deal with each other. Women are so jealous, deceptive, conniving. Like, you can just feel the evil when you are in the presence of certain women. You can walk in a room and you just feel the daggers. You just feel that demonic spirit. Women are evil. I don't care what nobody say. Women are untrustworthy, deceitful, demonic beings. I said what I said.
This right here, it all boils down to one thing: accountability. Or rather, the refusal to take any. When a woman is self-aware, when she's honest enough to call out toxic behavior in herself and others, that's powerful. That's rare. But unfortunately, what we're seeing more and more today are people, especially in modern dating, who dodge responsibility like it's a sport. They don't think anything they do is wrong. They ghost people and call it protecting my peace. They cheat and say it's because he wasn't emotionally supportive. They destroy relationships, then post about healing with no apology in sight. And here's the problem: when there's no accountability, the bad behavior never gets corrected. It festers. It becomes the default. And that's exactly how entitlement, manipulation, and betrayal become normalized. The truth is, accountability isn't about shame. It's about growth. And the people who avoid it, they don't grow, they just get better at blaming others. Bottom line, the lack of accountability isn't just a flaw. It's the root of nearly every toxic trend we're seeing right now.
High school sweetheart after 5 years of marriage and 4 babies. And I recently started dating. And let me tell you something that I've noticed we do. Myself and several of my friends have gotten out of either marriages or long-term relationships that were abusive, either physically, emotionally, verbally, toxic. Maybe the partner didn't hold their weight, whatever. I'm not just speaking to my experience. And I've noticed something, that we start dating and we meet someone and they're doing the bare minimum and we think it's everything.
This is another narrative that's just getting old. Like, how the does it take you 5 years, but not only 5 years, okay, you're kind of dumb, you're naive, you don't know any better, but 4 children? So he was toxic and abusive and all of these things for 5 years, and you still decided to pop out 4 children with him. Like, make that make sense. Like, is it one of those situations where you think that a baby is going to make the relationship better? But then what gets me is you literally tell on yourselves, because then you say you have a bunch of friends that are going through the same thing or have been through the same thing. And what do you think that is? Y'all are in each other's ears talking about how miserable you all are. One person will say, oh, my husband's manipulative. So what does that do? You start to think, oh, maybe my husband is manipulative too. So you start seeing him as a liar, a cheater, doesn't tell the truth, is a horrible person, because all of your friends are also in your ear. But not only that, is your friends, once they become single, will then make you think that the grass is greener on the other side. So you all end up divorced, miserable, and unhappy, supposedly because of a toxic relationship. If it's so toxic, then why did you have 4 children? Why didn't you stop at 1 child? Because you knew long before you had baby 2, 3, and 4 that he was toxic. And then y'all get online and talk about the bare minimum this and the bare minimum that, and the dating scene sucks, but what have you actually done to heal yourself other than break up your family and talk on the internet? Like, really? And the funny thing about it is you're gonna actually expect somebody else who's not the father of your children to take on 4 kids willingly. Like, what delusional world are y'all living in? And if he has kids of his own, guess what? You end up with like 6 kids. Like, it's just freaking wild to continuously come on the internet and talk about how abusive somebody is when you chose to have 4 children with him. You have friends that are divorced and miserable, and y'all are doing the same, expecting a different result. Okay, bye.
Do you guys remember the viral video of the woman that was ending her marathon? Like, she was almost to the finish line, and then her kids came running at her, and the dad was like behind the gate, and he allowed the kids to go running towards her, and then she like ignored them and kept on running, and then everyone started stitching that video and started hating on the dad for allowing the kids to go run towards the mom and like ruin her moment. Yeah, well, if you didn't remember, I'm reminding you.
Pick up your hand and hit a man, and the man gives you exactly the same thing back. Don't be surprised that you're on the floor and he wasn't. He's a man.
Do you think it's okay for a man to hit a woman?
It's never okay. It's never okay. However, there are some situations where I could see how it got there, but it shouldn't get there because you should be able to walk away. You should have the gumption to walk away. However, as a woman, the moment you lift up your hand and box a man, to me is fair game. If I take up my hand and punch my man in the eye and he does that back, how dare I say anything?
But he's got more strength.
Why did you hit him then? So the same logic that told you that he's got more strength is the same logic that should say, I should put my hands down here. Because if I hit him and he hits me back, I might sleep.
Hitting the man, like, come on, they can hold it. No. That's what I'm just doing. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay, but why should he have to?
Even though you're not the devil.
Definitely. Why should he have to?
No, but some would say that.
Let's make this crystal clear. Nobody should be putting hands on anybody, man or woman, period. But somehow, in modern society, if a woman hits a man first, it's brushed off. She was emotional. He must have done something. She didn't mean it. But the moment he responds suddenly, he's the monster. So wait, you want the freedom to act like a man, fight like a man, but expect to be treated like a delicate flower when it backfires. That's not equality. That's selective accountability. What we're seeing is a culture where some women believe they can do whatever they want, cheat, lie, hit, and never face the music. But the second there's any kind of consequence, the victim card comes flying out. They malfunction. They scramble to justify it with emotional logic that makes no real-world sense. If I hit him, it's because I was hurt. But if he hits back, he's abusive. Make it make sense.
They make cans of pickles so hard to open. Like, it's almost impossible to get the damn can opener on the top of the freaking pickle can. But I have a solution for you. I realized this tool is a multi-tool, right? So instead of trying to do this or, you know, trying to get it around the lip, it's freaking impossible. It drives me nuts. You see this? I had no idea that this was for pickle cans. Watch. You gotta get it just right. You have to just give it a minute, get it right on the lip, and it will come right off. You do this with any camera. On the lip. Look. And then it's just so stupid. I just feel like I pour them just into these because there's no way to get the top back on. So I just pour them back into these, and then it just makes it easier every time you open after that. So follow me for some more tips and tricks. Thanks.